Hello, everyone. Welcome to lesson 2. This is the Healthy Relationship Bootcamp, and I am blessed Audu. And I am so excited that you're here for lesson 2. Today's lesson is titled The Journey into You. I'm really excited because these are the things that we came to the bootcamp for. If you watched lesson 1, you heard everything I talked about. And we have, so by now you've discussed, right? You've gone to the intimacy sessions and you've talked about things, you've uncovered things about yourself. And this session is really focused on helping you see the gaps. Okay, we want to help you see the gaps, like where do you want to go in your life, what do you want for yourself, and compare that to the kind of thought patterns that you've realized about you. Okay, and when we compare, what are the gaps and how can we bridge these gaps? Okay, and the most powerful bridge that we want you to see is uncovering yourself, right? But this session is titled The Journey into You, and I'm going to try to not digress too much. I'm just going to pick out the most important things so that we can have an amazing time. Anywho, so one of the first thing I wanted to say, this is supposed to be like a tidbit from last lesson 1, but I did not mention, so I want to mention it now. One of the most powerful reasons why it is important that you uncover your thought patterns and that you rewire negative thought patterns is that how you think about this, how you see things. They are powerful, but they are not as powerful. And here's what I mean. You may want to apply for a new job and you've had five previous you've submitted applications 5 times prior to this time, and something in you is telling you, I'm sure there's something about you that makes it that like you're always not getting getting the type you want, and you are always getting second class things. Big things are not for you. Thoughts like that can be coming. If we dig deeper, there's a deeper reason why you think like that, but that's not the point of today's discussion. The point is that in that moment, when you begin to think like that, or you feel like, oh, you are unlucky, this is a relationship bootcamp. You feel like, oh, you're unlucky, all your friends have good guys or good women, and it just feels like it's not for you. These things can be really valid thought patterns. Very valid. You would believe them to your core. You may not say it out because it will sound silly, but you believe them. You believe that's how you believe that it's your reality because it's rooted in your past experiences. But the truth of the matter is that negative thought patterns or negative thought patterns and expecting having that negativity outlook towards life, it's one thing that stops people from going for more, one, from seeking growth, two. And so it means that the fact that something happened, right, the fact that you had the last relationship ended badly, you have now carved out, because this is how people do things. Either they blame themselves, internalize the issue, or project, or you project it to mean all women are, all men are, all this are. Do you understand? When you do those things, you are missing out on the real issues. That there is something you need to learn that you don't know. Do you see? So it means that the reason why you need to rewire your thoughts, the reason why you need to pay attention to how you think, the reason why you need to go on a journey to self-awareness to see things is because it helps you open up what is really on your inside, pick out the things that are not the way they should be, and focus on becoming a better version of yourself. So if you see that you're not going to be in relationships, instead of identifying as a person who will always meet bad people, you need to learn. There's something you don't know, you're just not aware. There's something you need to learn. There's nothing wrong with you, you're just unaware and uneducated. And so the only thing you need to do is to become literate and change your mindset. Anywho, I just wanted to mention that. That's by the way. Today we are talking about the journey into you. And the first question I want to ask you. So this session is not just going to be a talk session. I'm going to be asking you questions. And so I would appreciate if you pick a journal and a pen and you come come to the round table alongside with your journals. Okay, so that we can talk. We can have this conversation about what you really want. So in this session, I'm starting with questions. So get your journals, get your pen, and scoot closer. Scoot closer. What do you really want out of life? That's my first question. What kind of life do you envision for yourself? Who do you want to become? I hope you're writing these questions down. And what kind of relationships do you desperately desire? It depends on where you're coming from. For someone like me, if I want a relationship that gives me peace, where I don't have to be afraid of anything. That's my ideal. Where I can communicate, where I can be me, where I can do anyhow. Right? That is my ideal. A relationship where everything, you don't have to be afraid of conflict. You can handle conflict. You can talk things out without shouting. Nobody has to know there was a conflict, but there was a conflict where there's mutual respect. That's my ideal. The kind of life I want, I don't think we'll leave here if I talk about that. But anywho, what kind of life do you want for yourself? And this is not just so it's like a flow chart. The kind of life you want for yourself, it's the biggest portion. It's like the most is the whole. So when we open the whole, we now say, what do you want out of your relationships, out of your career, out of whatever? Do you understand? What do you really? A lot of us do not know what we want. We are just existing. We are just living. We are just trying to survive. And that's not what God created you to do. Survive? No. No. We are just trying to get the next person to like us. To get married. Many people are just trying to get married. They're not even stopping to find out if this is good or trash. They're just trying to get married. Just trying to look cool. To look like you're in. You know? That's not what you were called to be. You were called to live in a state of constant abundance, and not from a sense of struggle or hustle, but from a sense of wholesomeness. So an ideal life can mean different things to different people, but I don't want you to answer this question from a place of from a subconscious. I want you to dig into your consciousness and ask yourself, like, it's fine if you don't have your answers now. Just put it down somewhere and think about it. Maybe as you go through your day, what do you really want out of life? Or if you're still in a place where your focus is still in the negative, what do you really want to avoid at all costs? I don't believe that that's supposed to be how to decide what you want, but it can be a place to start. Okay? You need to be able to see yourself as someone as you need to be able to see yourself as whole on your own. That relationships are an addition, a welcome addition, by the way, of course, a welcome addition, but an addition. That you are so content, so at home, so complete in yourself that every other thing can, in fact, when you are that kind of person, you attract. That is when you become a magnet. Not when you are hustling for the next person to love you. Not when you're hustling for the next person to love you. Okay? So what do you really want out of life? If you've jotted that down, well done. Let's go to the next thing. Okay, so we want to help you see that there's a bridge or there's a gap between where you want to go and where you are. If at this time you've uncovered things about your relationships, and I guess some things about your life, how you think about life generally, you may have seen that, bro, there is a way people that want to go where I'm going are thinking. Do you see? It's your thoughts. It starts with the way you think. And like I just said, the most important reason why you need to think right is that you would face obstacles. Don't even think for a moment that when you start changing your thinking, life just becomes good and you start becoming and start attracting. But no, when you excavate unhealthy thought patterns, you replace with healthy thought patterns, you become capable of troubleshooting, because you know that it's not about you. There's nothing about you. It's just principles and laws that needs to be applied to a situation that is not working. It's not about you. It's not about the next person. It's not witchcraft. I'm not saying that witchcraft cannot affect things. Trust me. I'm saying that your thoughts are powerful and how you think is even more powerful than the witchcraft or the bad omen or whatever people think is worrying them in today's day and age in anything that you're doing. Okay, we want you to build a solid identity at the end of today's session. So this is our objective point. I want you to leave here with a solid sense of identity. Okay, because that is your bridge. Your identity is your bridge. When you start seeing yourself in a certain way, huh, when you start seeing yourself as capable and deserving of the big things you desire, trust me, you're just a step away. Because, like I said, you can now insist on what you want. You can now say, if this thing is not working, it means there's something I do not know, and I go for the knowledge. You are no longer thinking, you're no longer having poverty, the poverty mentality. And when I mean poverty, I don't even mean money. The scarcity or the poverty mentality that, oh, there's something about me. That's why, or there's something. You're not playing the blame game, blaming yourself or blaming another person. It's still the same thing. That's not how life works. Okay? You need a solid identity that shows you that I need to go for knowledge. I can grow. I am capable of growing and becoming a better person, and I can do this. Okay? What's the basic thing about a healthy identity? At this point, we are going into the journey into you. And the first thing is basic love. You are loved. Say that after me. I am loved. Say my name. Like, say, I, blessed, am loved. Repeat. Okay, now you have done that. Love. Whew, this is huge. Let's unpack it. Love is one of the most powerful forces that we know. It's sad that it has been misinterpreted. I can't even go into everything that love has gone through. But love is the most powerful thing. Because it's the nature of a God that literally gave himself so that people can come into a relationship with him. I don't know if you're Christian. If you are, you know what I'm talking about. If you aren't, welcome. Okay? Love is the basis of every identity because it gives you a foundation to understand that you don't have to be perfect to be accepted. It's okay to not be perfect. In fact, that's the point of being human. You are not perfect. And when you understand the fact that you can be loved even when you're not perfect, you begin to step into your uniqueness, quirks and all. Have you ever heard that? I'm sure you have. Quirks and all. You step into your uniqueness, embrace you for who you are, and show up to the world like that. You are confident. You're no longer thinking, oh, how are people seeing me? Oh, the other person is looking at me. She definitely doesn't like me. Who cares? It may be true that she doesn't like you, but who cares? Do you see? So your identity has to be rooted in the fact that you are loved. If you're a believer, perfect. If you are not, what this means is that Jesus died for you, right? You may not be a believer at this point in time, but trust me, Jesus died for you. And all you need to do is to believe that Jesus died for you, right? And actually accept him and come into a relationship with him, you know? And you're now open to a world of acceptance. Trust me. Sometimes it looks too, you know how they say some things are too good to be true? If you do not understand the concept of how much God loves you, you would still be that person who sees good things and you'd be like, ooh, is this like, this is too good to be true. I had to start consciously telling myself, no, you deserve good things. You deserve amazing things. And it's not just motivational talk. Trust me, guys. It's not just like baseless talk. I'm trying to show you that if there's something on the inside of you that still thinks that some things are too good for you, there's an issue. You don't have a solid identity rooted in the fact that you are loved. A perfect God loves you, right? Even though you're not perfect, even when you were not perfect. It's all over the scripture. While when we were yet without strength, in due time Christ died for the ungodly. And it takes away that fear of rejection, stepping into spaces and wishing and being holding back because you're afraid of being rejected. This is a relationship with camp. This is We are talking about acceptance and rejection. And before you can show up to the world with confidence, with a confidence that attracts, because there's a way you carry yourself and people just want to be around you. They just feel like, they just like your energy, you know. It's the air of being rooted in you that comes from the fact that, you know how people say things like, oh, I'm loved at home, I can't take rubbish, I'm loved at home. Yes, that's what it means. Whether you experience toxicity in your primary families, which is why you need to be here to see that healing is possible, or whatever your own situation may be, you need to come into the understanding that, bro, God loves me. And this is not just religious cliche talk. This is it takes, you need to, if you think about how powerful that is, and I recommend watching The Chosen. It made the love of God come alive to me. You should, it's a TV series that is very, that's everywhere on the internet. If you've not seen it, highly recommended. Go and see it, okay? You understand what I'm talking about. You would be able to, you'll be able to see how you can meet God at the level of your emotions. If you grew up in the part of the world where I grew up, a lot of us know God's here. We don't know God here. We don't know him in our hearts. We don't see him as someone who can meet us here. Meanwhile, it all started here, right? We know the good things. We know how we hear the good things, and that's why many people will not be able to live up to everything because they are focused on what should I do right, what should I, and you are forgetting that you have been called to a relationship. That's the first thing. That's the most important thing. That's what powers every other thing in a relationship. And when you understand the dynamics of a relationship, you understand that you don't have to be anybody else. You just have to show up as you. You're not perfect. That's fine. You're not, the ideal. That's perfect. Just the way you are. Your smile is not pretty. That's the point. You don't have to be anything perfect. Okay? So the basis of a healthy, solid identity is love. I hope that made sense to you. I hope you begin to see yourself differently after this session. I hope you begin to see, bro, I'm loved by God. And not just a cliche way. Sit down and think. If many, there's something I used to say. A lot of us are looking for people to love us for who we are. But we are forgetting that somebody already loved you for who you are. God. And I think the problem with this whole thing is that we think God is like far. Oh, we can't see God. You're looking for the person that will love you here, that can hold you, and but you step into certain you step into certain things, right? Or certain um awareness of God, that he begins to feel very, very um present. And I mean present. It's no longer about what people say or what they say in church. It's not about what you've experienced. And I think that's the most beautiful places that anybody can get to in building a relationship with God. I'm just trying to let you know that if you are going to have a solid identity, it starts with a foundation and an understanding that nobody can love you like God loves you. Nobody can accept you like God accepts you. You have to be rooted in the fact that you are already loved, because that consciousness will make you show up with the confidence that attracts healthy relationships. That's a simple message about basic, which is love. The next thing we're talking about is getting to know you. So when you've come into the understanding that, oh, I am loved, oh, I am loved, I'm not afraid of being rejected because God already accepted me, And the good thing about this is that it gives you options. You are not desperately holding on to a toxic love because you feel like, who will love me if I leave? What will happen? Do you understand? Like, you're not desperate for love. No, that's not that's not someone who has a healthy sense of identity. Okay, so the next thing is getting to know you. When I mean getting to know you, I mean falling in love with you. This is powerful. And this is where you now start to sit down with yourself. Don't be in a hurry to meet people. Meet you. Have you met you? Have you met you? Do you know how amazing you are? No, I'm not saying this because I'm trying to hype you up. I'm saying this because it's true. I sometimes think about me and I'm like, bro, I'm a speck. Cause what? Really? And I'm like, me? See me now. I can I am attracted to, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, if I was somebody else, who will not like this? Do you understand? And it makes me more confident. It makes me show up like, let's go get it. Do you understand? It makes me step into places. I'm not jittering. I'm not saying, oh, I'm not scared that who will be my friend. No, 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 no. All I have to do is to sit down and understand. Like, do you like look at me? Look at me. Like, look at the things that are powerful about me. Look at how my mind works. And I don't think it's only about knowing. Let's talk about this in depth, okay? You need to embrace you. So there are two things you can do when you're trying to get to know you. You need to embrace you, and you need to grow into better versions of yourself. Of course, nobody is perfect, but there's a better version of you that is waiting on the other side. You know that, right? So let's talk about embracing you. Let's talk about embracing you. And when I'm talking about embracing you, I'm talking about understanding that you're not perfect, but you're good, right? Some people, something, and when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about anything, especially in the context of primary family and how we can grow into, we can have bad bad messages. Bad does not cut it. Like, we can have shame so etched in our souls that we think we don't even like ourselves. I know how that feels. You don't even think that, you don't rate yourself. And this is never, I'm not saying you should be proud or something, but I'm saying, can you just stop and look at your soul? Look at your kind heart. Look at the way you love people. Look at the beautiful things that you do. See and how amazing you are on your inside. Just look at those things that people will not typically notice if you are not, constantly trying to show it off. And love those things about you. I'm not saying fall in love with your smile. Those things are perfect, but the deeper you, your personality, your gifts, and gifts may even sound a little too superficial for what I'm talking about, right? But your story too, your heart, just get to know, embrace those parts of you that maybe your parents even rejected, and you're now so shame laden. You don't even really see yourself anymore. You stuffed down yourself because you've been repeatedly told how bad you are. It's funny how our childhood experiences can be very pivotal in our adulthood. Many of us don't like us because we have consistently heard messages that told us that we were bad people. So we have embodied that message. And we don't even know it. We just know that we are living unhappy lives. Because you spend time with you. There's something I said in my first book. If you've read that book, you'd have seen it. Everyone needs a daddy. I said, if we don't like someone, right, you can take yourself out of that person's space, try to avoid the person. But if you don't like you, have you thought about that? You are sending mixed messages to your soul, and you would be depressed. You would not, if you don't like you, if you have shame, anger at yourself, maybe you did something and you just feel like you're always blaming yourself, you're not cutting yourself some slack. If you don't like you, you cannot separate you from you. You are you. And so you will be sending these worrying messages in your soul that would cave in and present as depression. So you need to embrace yourself. Write out the list of your imperfections. This is off the top of my head, okay? Write out the list of your imperfections and look at them. Like, why do I what am I ashamed of? Okay? Write down the things that you are ashamed of. You may not share this in the group. It's fine. But write it down. And ask yourself, why am I ashamed of this? Is this something to be really ashamed of? And this takes us to the next point. Is this something I can grow out of? Okay, for some of us, a lot of people live lives where they feel like this is how I am. Have you heard that? This is how I am. Take me like I am. This is how I am. That is the other end of the spectrum, which is not exactly good, right? Because you can grow. You are not a tree. In fact, a tree grows. You are not a what? What's the thing that cannot grow now? You're not an inanimate object. You're not a table. You can grow, right? You are living, and so you can grow. And when I mean grow, it means you can consistently shift your perspectives. It's when you begin to shift your perspective of life that you begin to have better outcomes. Okay? You need to shift your perspective about the things that you see in your life that you do not like. How can I do this better? I've always thought that I'm not good at this. What do I need to do this better? I need knowledge. I need accountability. I need coaching. You can grow. You are very capable of growth. You don't even know the things you're capable of. You don't. So those things that seem like insecurities, are they things you can grow out of? Are they things that you just need time and you can learn? You can become better at them. So instead of internalizing the shame message, look out for these things and separate them. The things that you can change and the things you cannot change. Okay? The things you cannot change, you need to embrace them. You need to love them because that's what makes you you. The things you can change, you need to go for knowledge and change them. Okay? So these are the most important things. When we are talking about getting to know you, you need to embrace you and you need to love yourself enough to grow into a better version of yourself. Okay, I'm enjoying myself. I don't know if you are enjoying this. I'm totally enjoying myself. But that's it. Next thing. Oh, I've talked about almost every other thing that I shared here. But let's go deep. Let's go a bit more deep. One of the reasons why growth is powerful and embracing yourself is powerful is that you now begin to share your light with the world. And this is one of the things that is a deal breaker when it comes to relationship. Even you, even you are attracted to greatness. Are you not? Many of us are not living lives. We are not living our lives in a way that we can become a magnet. We have locked up all the good things on our inside and we are not sharing our greatness with the world. We are just going to work every day, paying our bills, looking for who to get married to and have children, maybe giving tithes in church or going to club, depending on what side you are on. You are not thinking that you have been put here, to do something with your life. You're not just any random person that was just born to live and die. When you step into your purpose, relationships is not even your headache. That's one thing I realized. I started attracting relationships that I would never have imagined when I started stepping into the things that God has called me to be. As you grow and evolve, because purpose comes it comes when you are growing, you have a story to tell. You have a journey to bring people along on. Do you understand? That's it. It's like purpose, it's intertwined with growth. Yes. Okay. So a lot of us, we are trying to get people to like us. All you have to do is to sit back and uncover what you have been called to be, who you have been called to be. Uncover that. Start your growth journey. How can I do this better? Do you understand? Pick up projects and ask yourself, who will I become to execute this? Grow into the person on the way and share that journey with people. Bring people along on your journey. Relationships, it's not relationships you be thinking about. Trust me. It's not. I'm not saying that you will not learn the ethics of connection. to that on day 3 and 4. Maybe talk about that. But this is pivotal. If you want to attract healthy relationships, the people who you want to attract, ask yourself now, ask those people, if it's really healthy relationships you want to, not just anyhow relationship, ask yourself, the kind of high class babe that I want, will she be attracted to this version of me? Or the kind of guy that I want, will he be attracted to this version of me? It's really that simple. When you uncover your journey and you grow and you are making efforts to be a better version of yourself every day, you are developing your self-awareness. You are learning the rules of how things work, life generally. You are stimulating your mind. You are stimulating your mind to think. You are becoming, you are literally evolving. You attract people like that. And those are the kind of people that will give you peace of mind. If in both, that will not give you drama in your friendships. I hear a lot of things in friendships and I'm just like, and I think about the kind of friends I have. And I go, thank you, God. But I've also learned that growth did that. Yes. In fact, when you are not growing, you will see good people and you will say, whoa, these ones, what are these ones? It is the people that are from your secondary school, primary school, that all they do is gossip that you want to go and be friends with. Because you don't even know what you want. You don't even know what you need. Not what you want, because you know what you want in this moment, but you don't know what you need. You have not uncovered what you are called to do. Guys, this is powerful. When you uncover what you have been called to do, your life will be so much better for it. You will become a literal magnet, attracting healthy relationships. Because they are the kind of people that are on that kind of journey. They see you and they say, that's my kind. That's my kind. You don't have to. I'm just trying to let you know that you don't have to be anything other than who you are. Right? Who you are on your inside, not who you are now. Because there's growth to do. Okay? You don't have to be anything other than who you really are, who God has called you to be. And when you own yourself, develop your identity, step into the person that God has called you to be, understand that you are loved, embrace the part of yourself that you cannot change, fall in love with those unique things about you, and then grow, because you're not perfect. That's the journey into you. And that's what makes you a literal magnet for healthy relationships. Okay? So let's go now to our lesson. I call the lesson for the exercise for this lesson, building your bridge. So let's talk about it, because this is what we're going to talk about in the intimacy sessions. So let's talk, so you know what it means, how to approach it as you journal. So list 3 things that you don't like about yourself. I talked about this. So you need to get your journal, do that, and bring it along to the intimacy sessions. We're going to have conversations around it. So list 3 things that you don't like about yourself. 1, or things that you are ashamed of. I think feeling ashamed of something is one of the most, what I think about yourself that you are ashamed of. It can be your physique, whatever. List them. It can be something you did in the past. Bring it along. What are those things that make you feel alive? What are those things that make you feel alive? We want you to uncover your passions, really, and the person that you are on your inside. So what makes you feel alive? What lights up your heart? I know those things for me. It's doing things like this: teaching, sharing, writing, speaking, holding conversations. That's what makes me feel alive. You need to uncover those things about yourself, because you need to do them more, so that you can now start having a life that you are content in. Create a joy list. I love this a lot because I did it at a point and I encourage people to do it. Create a joy list. Okay? And do, for example, what are the things you typically want? What are the things that bring you real joy? I'm not talking about happiness. I'm not talking about binging on food or eating chocolate or smoking or drinking or going to parties because you feel sad or you had a breakup. I'm not talking about things like that. I'm talking about things that are healthy. Dancing, writing, connecting with, people, meeting new people, It depends on you. So create your own joy list, okay? And commit to doing at least one of the things on your joy list each day. What one thing do you want to do or has been on your heart but you've been afraid of doing or you've been stalling for some reason? What one thing do you think that you want to do? It could be a project, it could be whatever, starting an NGO, reaching out to poor people, you know, creating a movement. I want you to understand that you've as human, the kind of human, the kind of being that you are, you were not created to fit into a mold. You were not. You would live a miserable life, an unfulfilled life, if you just go through the motions, get a job, get married. So please, you need to start thinking about how to uncover and share your gift with the world, your passion with the world. Okay? List two areas you want to grow in. What are the things you currently found out? So when you did the whole getting to know you session, which I said embrace you, grow. What did you find out that you want to grow in this year? List them out. And when you come to the intimacy sessions, we are going to ask you for the habits and your commitments. How are you going to grow in those areas? We want to know, because these are the things that is important. So in summary, the journey into you, the journey into you is just a journey of living every day with purpose. It is loving yourself, understanding yourself, being intuitive, asking yourself questions. Why did I feel that way? Why did I do that? Why did I say that? It's have you tried? I'm sure every one of us here at a point have gotten to know someone. You ask questions. You ask them, oh, so how was your day? Do you ever ask yourself how your day was? I do that. I just stop trying to avoid yourself. Stop it. Stop it. Don't take an unaware self into any relationship. You would hurry out of that relationship. You need to be aware. You cannot manage another human being if you can't manage yourself. Trust me on this. You cannot. So stop being unaware. Stop trying to evade your feelings. Stop it. Have time so you sit with yourself and you journal. Today I felt this way. I felt this way because, and this is really why people would, do you know that being a toxic person is not really like you are bad? That's one thing I was talking about my team members a few days ago. It's not the people that are toxic, you think they like to be toxic. They are toxic because they are trying to cope. They've stuffed down a lot of dirt into their souls. They are not thinking, they are not asking questions, and they are just trying to survive. And anything that happens goes. And toxicity comes out of it, of hurt, of trauma. It's toxicity is what comes out, nothing else. Because you're trying to survive and you don't have the emotional skills to cope. You're not learning. You're not, being intuitive. You're not asking yourself questions. You're not paying attention. You are just trying to survive. You're in survival mode. And when people live in survival mode, they have a tendency to be toxic in their relationship with others. So the journey into you is getting to know you. Pay attention to yourself. Uncover purpose. Learn. Grow. Embrace yourself. But more importantly, be self-aware. Ask yourself questions. When you feel a certain way, stop. Don't be in a hurry to attack that person that made you angry. Ask yourself, why am I angry? Why did I get to me? Why do I feel this way? I do it a lot, and it's powerful the things you find out. Why do I feel that way? Oh, I felt that way because this. How many other times in your life have you felt that way? Oh, this is how something happened in my family. I hate how that person referred to me. It reminds me of how my father made me feel stupid. It reminds me of the numerous toxic, hurtful words that my mother has said to me. That's the real reason you are sad. It's not that person is not at fault. I'm not saying that people can not do rubbish. You can call them out, okay? But you need to know why something upsets you before you can be able to address it. Do you understand? You can now reach out to the person and say, I don't like the way you spoke to me. I do not appreciate it. This is my boundary. Okay? But you've understood yourself. You've seen the reasons why, and you can heal that wound. We are talking about healing in the next session. You can heal that wound and move on a better person. You can take out the negative thoughts because you are paying attention to you. Okay? Guys, if this session blessed you, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm so happy that you are still here watching this. All right, so you need to pay attention to the things I've talked about. Come with your journals to the intimacy sessions and let's talk. That is the most important part of this bootcamp. Okay? Um, drop a comment if you want. Say how this blessed you, and I'll see you in the next session.